Welcome. And on this show, we started back in 2005. We've had a lot of interesting and fascinating guests, and we like to explore people that bring something different to the table, that we can expand our horizons and learn new things. And that's why we're very excited to meet Master Vincent. Master Vincent, welcome, and thank you for joining us on the show today.
Namaste, Howie. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And Raja Yogi, please kind of give us an education on what that's all about.
Well, Raja Yoga is the yoga of the spiritually noble. It involves 8 limbs, the 2 yamas, or the yamas and the niyamas. And then it has asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. What is that? So the yamas and the niyamas are like the 10 commandments: compassion, not lying, not stealing, being content with what you have, study of the spiritual texts, just to name a few. And then asana is the physical postures of yoga, and everybody knows what asana is, because as soon as people hear yoga in America, they know the postures of yoga. The next one is pranayama, which is the breathing techniques. It means exercise of breath and life force expansion. The next one is dharana, which is concentration practice. It's the ability to be able to concentrate. The next one is dhyana, which is meditation. And the final one is samadhi, in which your spirit joins with the spirit of the divine. And there's different levels to samadhi as well. So,
one thing that I would like you to expand on right away. I have someone, a close friend, and person said to me, my biggest problem in my life is I just can't relax. I'm always uptight. I just can't relax, no matter what. I could almost bet anything that you would be the perfect person to help that person relax. Talk about that. Taking a person who's nervous, uptight, always worried, can't relax. How would you go about helping that person and other people similar to that?
okay. Well, the first thing that I would say is, if you're not relaxed, try not to stress about it. If you are relaxed, try not to stress about it. So try to be content and be happy with what you have. That being said, if you're feeling anxiety, the closest feeling to anxiety is excitement. So trying to flip over the anxiety to excitement works very well. That's a good transformation there. In Raja Yoga, there are postures that you can do, such as Balasana, child's posture, or Shavasana. These are 2 postures, and plus bound angle posture. These are 3 yoga postures that you can do to learn how to relax the mind. And after you practice the postures for a long time, and you start to feel how it feels to be able to relax, then you can start to be able to relax the mind and the body voluntarily, without even doing the postures. And then there's focus on breath and meditation. And focus on breath and meditation is sadhana, which is what the yoga postures are about. And when we begin to focus on the breath and focus on the meditation, we begin to be able to relax ourselves. So it is a practice.
And I would almost imagine as well that you could really help, let's say, high school kids or kids in junior high school that are being bullied, that are always stressed out or unhappy, and just can't find peace in their life. Talk about that, reaching out and helping like teenagers that are under stress, duress, and just by adopting your philosophies would improve their whole beings.
Well, Howie, each problem has to be solved one person at a time. So to just say, let's lump up all teenagers who are having bully problems into one group sum, it can't be done. Right. An Ayurvedic practitioner solves one person at a time. So the difference between an Ayurvedic practitioner and like an American Western practitioner is an Ayurvedic practitioner takes one patient at a time and deals with the one patient, because you have so many aspects of a human being. You have the mental aspect, the spiritual aspect, the emotional aspect. So as far as dealing with the stress part, it would have to be one-on-one at a time. Either way, proper sadhana is the cure for it. So if you want to get like a certain path, it would be the 8 limbs of yoga is a definite path. It's a definite path there. Then you notice people who are getting bullied. Now, there are different levels to self-protection. So in self-protection in the martial arts, for example, in the Chinese martial arts, the emphasis is on health and longevity, as opposed to other martial arts which are redirecting energy or causing harm to the other person. In the Chinese martial arts, they protect the spine first. So when you start to do the physical martial arts, one of the good things is that you're not afraid of the person. You don't want to be afraid of them, so you have to conquer your own fear. The next one is to be able to control your own body. So be able to control different locks and different energy points in the body. And then when you're able to control these locks and these energy points in the body and you practice proper postures, then you practice compassion. So compassion and proper body postures becomes your self-defense. So if you're afraid of somebody bullying you, then that's what you're going to draw in. But if somebody bullies you and you show them compassion, they won't bully you anymore. So that's the first thing of Raja Yoga is compassion. And what it says is in the scriptures, it says is that when the sadhaka, and the sadhaka means the yogic practitioner or the spiritual person who's on a spiritual journey, when the sadhaka has mastered compassion, that all beings lose aggression in the sadhaka's presence. So if you're practicing the compassion properly, then people won't bully you to begin with. That being said, there's different levels to it and there's different causes to it, so then your karma comes into play. You know, what is your karma? So,
Very interesting. Now, I always like to start a story at the very beginning. Master Vincent, how did you get involved and become so passionate about yoga and these things? What was your motivation? Where did it all begin where you developed this amazing passion and love for yoga and all the great things that you believe in? Where did it start?
Howie, this is a long story, so
I want to hear all the details. Let's start from the beginning.
Oh man, when I was 5 years old, I came out of my house and my whole family was an Italian family. I was born in an Italian family on Long Island, New York. They were outside and they were playing basketball. And when I saw them playing basketball, I immediately fell in love with basketball. And I said, I want to play basketball. And I was horrible at basketball. I had long arms. I was tall and lanky. I was like, couldn't shoot the ball, couldn't lift it up over my head. But over the years, I started to get better and better and better at it. I had a real strong desire to play basketball. And then I got taller. I shot up to about 6 foot. So then I wanted to play pro basketball. So then I started going nuts playing pro basketball. I was a wild kid. I used to drink, hang out, so on and so forth. And one day I wanted to play basketball. My plan was to try and get on the Stony Brook team by showing off for the coach. So I was on a team with 4 people who could not play basketball. We were playing against the Stony Brook team, and they were all 6'4", semi-pro, amazing. I kept passing the ball. My team kept turning it over. If you don't know basketball, I'm sorry. But then I got the ball, and I was like, I'm not passing the ball anymore. I scored a couple points. I took it up full speed. I tried to lay it up in the rim, put it down in the rim, and my foot got caught on the person's ankle, and then I fell down and I busted my ankle really bad. I couldn't walk. I got brought to the hospital. The doctors told me I was never going to be able to run again. I had torn something. So I said, okay, there's no way that's going to happen. At this point, I wanted to play basketball so much. It was my life. I played every day. So at that point, I ended up on crutches, and then my friend told me, you should try yoga. I said, okay, I heard him. I always an open-minded, but went in one ear and out the other. And if you ever heard the Charlie Brown thing, wah, 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 I was on there and I was in the car and I was listening to the radio. And it said, wah, 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 yoga. And it was like the second time in 1 hour I heard yoga. And I'm like, okay, wait a second here. I believe in coincidences, So I'm in crutches, I'm in the gym. And I'm sitting there on crutches and this woman comes in and I go, what's going on here? They said, yoga. I said, okay, this is a sign. So then I immediately went in there. I sat down, everybody took their shoes off, they sat Indian style. I took my shoes off, my feet were smelling. My knees were like up to here, I was uncomfortable, I was in the room. I was like, oh man, I hope they don't my feet don't smell. And that's how I got brought to yoga. I immediately fell in love with yoga. I started practicing every day. About, I'd say 6 months later, I was on the basketball court playing basketball again. So that's how I got into the physical postures of yoga, just as a rehab. Then after I got into the physical posture of yoga, just as a rehab, my father passed away. And I was separated from my son. It was a very rough time for me. And then I started learning, and I decided that I wanted to be a yoga teacher, and I started learning underneath a teacher. And then from there, I learned Reiki, and then moved on from there. So,
awesome, very, very, very inspiring as well. So, you're going to do something, and you're going to educate us on pranayama. So, we're very excited to hear you talk and do a demonstration on pranayama. Folks, you want to hear pranayama? With Master Vincent.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay. We're all excited to hear Master Vincent do his thing on pranayama. Master Vincent, the floor is yours.
Namaste. Thank you, Howie. Thank you so much. Okay, so my friend Greg, he works on cars. He works on cars for a living. So I got a Volkswagen 2008 EOS. I love my car, 4-cylinder turbo, great car. And he works on cars all the time. So when I talked to him about my car, he said, you know what, be careful with your car. I said, why? He said, your car burns oil. It's known to burn oil. And if you don't put oil in the car, if you wait till your next inspection, it's going to burn out of oil, you're going to burn out your energy, you're going to need a new car. So I was very thankful for him. He's like the car expert. So I've been working on bodies for about 14 years. So the third leading cause of death is chronic lower respiratory failure. And what happens is the renal arteries are liable to get blocked very easily. So pranayama helps us with that. It helps to restore the energy flow through the body, and it helps from keeping these arteries clogged up. Now, what is pranayama? Pranayama simply means exercise of breath and the ability to expand your life force energy through the exercise of breath. So we're just going to go over some basic pranayama techniques. It just takes about 1 to 3 minutes. You can do it at any time. You can do it for up to an hour. If you practice pranayama properly, you won't get sick, you won't get disease. The energy flows through your body well, you'll digest your food better, and you'll have more energy and a better quality of life. So we can start by closing the eyes. Then with the eyes closed, ground your energy. As soon as the energy is grounded, begin to breathe into the lower abdomen. Now, air is our most precious source of energy. So when we're breathing in, we're taking in air. And right off the bat, as soon as you take in air, you're starting to charge your energy. Now, you want to sit upright. If you sit cross-legged, it's a little bit better because it brings the energy in. But if you want to sit in Egyptian posture in a chair, that's okay too. But you want your higher spiritual centers on top of your lower, more earthly centers. So let's start by just taking a deep breath into the lower abdomen. Then we can strengthen or straighten out the spine so that it's strong like a tree trunk. And then align the ribs on both sides so that both of the rib cages are aligned. And now we can just start taking long, deep inhalations in and long, deep exhalations out. So the reason why the eyes are closed is because when the eyes are closed, we're allowed to bring or we're more able to bring the attention inwards. So we really want to keep our attention inwards here. And it's this simple. This is pranayama, or at least the basis of it. There are different levels to it, from beginner to master. We're just going to start with the basic here today. So we can do our best to do this for about 2 or 3 minutes just to start. And you want to work your way up to about 10 minutes or about even an hour. You'd want to work your way. It's good to withdraw from the senses a little bit. We're so used to coming out of the senses for our pleasure that when we withdraw from the senses, it's very healthy for the mind. It begins to slow the mind down. And it's only through slowing the mind down that we're able to withdraw from the sense pleasures for a little while. And then through withdrawing of the sense pleasures, we're able to calm the mind. And when we calm the mind, we find more happiness. The average person has a lung capacity of about 500 cubic centimeters. The yogi can expand their lung capacity to about 1,200 to 1,300 cubic centimeters. So begin first by breathing into the lower abdomen, then into the middle part of the torso, and then a more advanced practitioner can begin to bring the energy or the breath up into the upper part of the back. So begin to expand the clavicles and stretch the skin of the upper back. Now, when you open up your eyes and it comes time to leave the pranayama session, when you open up the eyes, do your best to keep a gentle gaze and keep your internal awareness. So when you keep your internal awareness, you begin to hold on to the prana and build the prana. So you want your prana to be strong. If your prana is strong, your life force energy will be strong. If your life force energy is strong, you won't get sick. It helps us to keep from getting depressed, stressed out, and things like that. So once again, my name is Master Vincent, and I am demonstrating 3,000 yoga postures on my YouTube channel. Please join me on my journey. The YouTube channel is Master Vincent Ferrer, M-A-S-T-E-R, V-I-N-C-E-N-T-F-E-R-R-E-R. Thank you very much. Long life, good health, and happiness. Namaste.
Very illuminating. We thank Master Vincent for sharing with us, and we hope he returns and keeps illuminating us for many shows in the future. I think it would be a great asset to not only our show, but to the community out in Long Island, and there are a lot of people who can benefit from the many benefits of Master Vincent. So we thank him for initial visit. Thank you.